such time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
And I too want to add my thanks and appreciation to my classmate on her years of dedication and just stellar service to the United States of America on behalf of your wonderful state. Thank you. Some of you may remember David, the little boy in the bubble. He was a constituent from Shenandoah, Texas, who passed away at the age of 12 after living many years of his life in a sterile environment at the Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas. His mom, Carole Ann Demeret, is the champion for David and for other patients who were born with an immunodeficiency disease. Carole Ann is a friend and a constituent and has worked so hard to help those patients impacted with that disease. For years now, Carole Ann and I and many others have been fighting to change a law that could help patients like David. Intravenous immune globulin, or IVIG therapy, is a vital step for treating patients with certain life-threatening diseases. These are patients for whom virtually every trip outside is potentially deadly. For the 250,000 Americans with primary immune deficiency disease, there's no place more dangerous than going to a hospital for treatment. This is why home IVIG treatment actually prevents people being exposed to common illnesses that may make you and I miserable for a day or two, but could be deadly for patients with suppressed immune systems. Regular access to IVIG therapy means a better quality of life, less disability, and potentially the difference between life and death. Unfortunately, today, current law excludes from Medicare coverage the items and the services necessary to administer this IVIG therapy in the home, where doctors tell us patients with compromised immune systems can benefit the most. The Medicare IVIG Access Act today requires the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to do a couple things. It establishes a 3-year demonstration project to cover these items and services necessary to do this therapy in the home, evaluates the impact of the demonstration project on access for these Medicare beneficiaries, analyzes the appropriateness of implementing a new methodology for IVIG payment in all care settings under Medicare Part B, and updates a previous report on this by the Assistant Secretary for Planning and Evaluation. It's my intent that the required study consider the impact of lag times with respect to data used to determine the average sales price and recommendations to reduce the lag time to ensure more accurate pricing for IVIG, and to report whether home infusion saves the Medicare program tax dollars by improving access to all care settings. The Medicare Payment Advisory Committee recently looked at home infusion, including the access problem for Medicare beneficiaries with PIDD. And the June MedPAC report reported that a target expansion of home infusion coverage focusing on certain drugs would have more likelihood of savings. Drugs with a narrow indication, precise diagnostic criteria, like IVIG for PID, are less likely to have a woodwork effect than drugs with broad uses or imprecise diagnostic criteria. MedPAC's report also highlighted that fixing the Part B home infusion therapy or benefit for beneficiaries may save money because some of the other covered therapies for these patients are more expensive. I expect, Madam Speaker, the study required by this bill will give us more information about potential savings from giving people access to the right kind of care, reducing their exposure to germs in other settings, and increase compliance with the prescribed therapy. There may be a lot of division, partisanship in Washington right now, but not about this bill. I'd like to thank my esteemed colleague, Representative Doris Matsui of California, for her leadership and just tremendous hard work on this important bill. We have here today a solid bipartisan bill, and both the House and Senate joined together in support of Medicare IVIG access. And at this point, I would reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves balance of his time. Gentleman from Wisconsin.